Hi, this is Rick Adams from practicalcsm.com, and thank you for joining myself and Guy Nirpaz from Tatango for our third and final part of the webinar conversation that I had with Guy recently, entitled 4 Challenges for the Customer Success Profession in 2021. So this is the third and final part. If you've not yet viewed or listened to parts 1 and 2, I suggest you dig those out first, because this will follow directly from those. Otherwise, please sit back and enjoy part 3. And of course, we do wish you a very happy new year to yourself, your friends, your family, and your colleagues. And we look forward to working with you to make the customer success profession as successful as possible during 2021. Thank you. Right. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, Guy, of the example, let's say, of a motor car manufacturer like BMW or whoever, where 15, 20 years ago, if you wanted to buy a new car, you had to go to the showroom and you had to talk to what was pretty much like the dungeon keeper, the salesperson, who hoarded information and knew stuff that you didn't know, and the only way you were going to get and of course, if you were contrasting BMWs with Toyotas and and Fords and whatever else, well, then you'd have to traipse around to multiple showrooms to get that information and reanalyze and reinterpret data that was not presented in the same way. Now, if you think about the new world and the digital world, and what manufacturers of vehicles can now do online, where you can build your car from the ground up, choose the color, choose the seating, choose the wheels, 3D model of it, rotate it, then immediately change the color, put it in a different environment. This is the sort of thing that I think we in the customer success world need to embrace as well, when it comes to when we're offering customer success services to our customer. The old, go and talk about it route is still very applicable in many circumstances. But I tell you what, I don't think we should be scared about suggesting that automation and self-service actually may not only be more productive and efficient for us, it might actually be more productive and efficient for our customers as well for some of it.
And so I agree with you 100%. I think that this is I was just coming out of the call with my team about this, which is when we, before or the non-digital version, I'd say that the customer has to go through a person in order to get information. So I think information has been sold for the last 10 years, whether you want it on 20 years, 25 years.
Yes.
But I think access to products and services is what we're seeing right now. And I think one of the key changes is to design your products and services with the customer is your end customer and not your team that needs to deliver to the end customer. And I know that what I'm saying might sound like obvious, but I think in a lot of B2B businesses, the processes are designed to our sales team, to our customer success team, to our implementation teams, and they're gonna add the excitement, the personality, the knowledge. So that's good, but then it's a synchronous process, meaning that for the customer to get the excitement and the personality and the knowledge, they have to meet with a smart, exciting customer success manager or implementation managers and so forth. So take that, bake that into the offering, get this all the way to the customer. You can do this with video, like what we're doing right now. I mean,
right.
I'm not talking to the audience directly, I'm talking to you, Rick, but you're going to package it up, you're going to put this on your website, and people are going to have some level of engagement with me and you, and they may like it or not like it, but at least they will get the personality in a certain level. So
yes,
so I think we have the way to do it, and the advantage of that, if we are aware of it, right? If we're conscious of it, we can do it well. Meaning that if I'm aware that I want to capture the personality and the excitement, I will capture it. I will put it out there. So you're seeing a lot of products today that have videos in them. They have like a cute messages, emojis. So that's one thing. And the second thing is customers are used to immediacy, right? They're used to immediacy and then pause, and then immediate and then pause, and then immediate and then pause. My daughter, teenager, I said that before. So, she goes on my Amazon account and she orders whatever she wants and it gets in the door the next day or something like this. I think we are all used to this, like getting what we're looking for, the information, the valuation, the question, the answer to our questions immediate. And you can't do immediacy if you force people to be at the other end of it. So take the value of people, package it effectively, and make the access to customers immediate. The
and put them more in control in doing so, giving the customer more control. Are you aware of somebody called Dave Jackson? He's the CEO of a company called thecustomer.co.
Yes,
customer success strategist. Now he was talking to me. We were both speaking at an event about a year ago, and he was saying to me at that time, he was saying customer success should be baked into the product. And I would admit at the time, I wasn't totally getting why he was so insistent on this. And I think now I totally get it as to what he was saying and why he was saying it. And I think he's 100% right.
So I call it now the revenue experience. I think the customer experience and revenue lifecycle, so customer journey, right? The flow, the revenue flow, I think it's the same thing. And I think the reason why I call it a revenue experience is because if you want a revenue, you got to bake the experience of success, value, empathy, everything that we teach our customer success teams to deliver. You got to bake it into the way in which you deliver, in which your revenue cycle works through.
Right. Right, so it's baked in from the ground up. It's not an add-in at some later stage.
Let's just be clear. You can add that, right? I mean, all I'm saying is I don't want to discourage people that didn't have this mindset in their business. I've seen a lot of companies, not a lot, but few companies that are get this realization and start working on connecting the customer intent into the way they do business. It is a process. It takes some time. It is the mindset, but it's basically taking the customer success mindset and broadening this up to the entire customer journey end to end. And you find the marketing team speaking that language. You find the sales team speaking that language. You find the customer success team speaking that language. And that's what makes your company, customer centered, and your entire revenue cycle being revenue experience when you think about those ideas.
Actually, that's very well put. So it's going to be a journey, and you may be anywhere on that journey. You may be just starting out, in which case it's not going to be a question of you having to. We're not suggesting, right, well, you've got to close your business down, reinvent all your products, and then relaunch in 2023. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, like we said already, right, incremental innovation is the way forwards anyway. Minimum viable product, make small changes, get feedback from your customers is the approach in any case. So we're going to use this incremental innovative format and agile format moving forwards to make the changes, but with the concept in mind of customer centricity, digital first, self-service, and making it a part of the product itself rather than some sort of optional extra hanging around on top called customer success. All right, look, we'd better turn to your challenge number 4 because we're going to run out of time otherwise. My fault. But your final challenge was competing in the new world whilst keeping customers top of mind and demonstrating value. So as always, give us a bit more of a definition of that challenge first, and then once you've discussed it, we'll get into the implications for customer success.
Yeah, so I think this question is basically a summary of all the questions that we've talked about up until now. So it's basically so what do you do about all this new knowledge that you have? How do you run your business more? How you survive, thrive, depending on the dynamics of your markets? I think that is the question. And if I may kind of start with with some ideas around that. I think the first one I'd say, take into consideration the things that we've talked up until now. Embrace change, embrace agility, embrace digital, kind of use the current and the future to your advantage. That's I think is the first thing. I think it emphasized the importance of on your customer and the level of understanding of your customer intent and their motivation. I think we all talk about this, customer outcomes, getting there right. I think that there's a lot of nuances in this conversation, right? And I think what you learn is the more you become more customer centered, the less you understand your customer, which forces you to better understand your customer, to less understand. But that's good. It's a good learning, because what you're learning along the way is precision, and precision matters, I think, when you compete right now. So it's not just having the mindset of being customer centered and the customer is always right, or which I'm not sure it's true, but it's not about that. It's what about the customer and what's the level of precision in which we need to do. And the example was, I think one of the things that I've learned by working with the Zoom team as they went through their massive growth is that they all of a sudden seen, and I mentioned this before, new use cases for their product. So if before it was meet happy at the corporate, the company level, all of a sudden yoga, and all of a sudden families and other use cases they haven't thought about before. So the same level of precision and intent in which you got to improve the level of precision and intent of your offering and your vocabulary and your language and your timing in order to compete. It sounds too detailed, but I think we got.
But you make a great point, Guy. I mean, how do you like instantly turn a tool that you only thought was ever going to be used for business to business meetings into a tool that enables a child's 12th birthday party?
Or high school, right? I mean, I thought Zoom.
Yeah, or a group of 20-year-olds having a drink together and having a laugh and enjoying a social because they can't go down the bar together.
Yeah, and before COVID, I was trying to work with my daughter over Slack on something, and she's digital native, of course, right? She's in her teens,
of course.
And she told me this is too complicated. And I said, what are you talking about? What are you comparing this to? And she said, Instagram chat is much simpler.
Well, and I think some of that is simplicity, and some of it is actually is language and the trigger points that have been created for people like us may work for us, but not for people like your daughter, for example.
Exactly, and I don't think that what I'm saying is that Slack is complicated, but you've seen that Slack have changed a lot of their user experience in the last 6 months to adapt to a more kind of consumerized experience. Although we all thought in the B2B world that Slack is the best user experience ever, I'm joking, but I think that was the sentiment, that Slack is good at user experience, and all of a sudden they had to make changes. Same thing as Zoom. My point being is, competing in the new world is really understanding your customers, really understanding the use cases, and identifying risks or opportunities to make precise tune-ups to your products and services, which will make you more relevant. Either will open new markets, as some of the examples we gave, or deliver better value in the current markets you operate in to your current customer base as they change. That goes back again into the feedback loops, and agile is part of agility is feedback loops. Is really looking at data, really understanding your customer, really this knowledge, and doing something with that in timeframes that are relevant. And so I think that's how I will compete in this market. This is how I would recommend, all of us to think about the near future.
Brilliant. All right, that's great. Thank you very much. So, I mean, we've covered the 4 challenges, and that's great. And you've been very, generous with your time. We've covered a lot of ground. I'm very grateful to you for sharing your thoughts and ideas around the types of challenges we may be faced with in the world in general and in the customer success community in the next 12 months or so as we move into 2021. Just in the last couple of closing minutes before we do say goodbye, Guy, is there any final thought around 2021 and customer success that you'd like to leave us with?
Rick, this is a great conversation, and I feel inspired by our dialogue here.
Me too.
I just feel that now it's the time to double down on this.
Okay.
I think customer. The first decade of customer success was proving out the need and the existence and the momentum and the basic. I think let's focus on innovation. Let's break through into, let's redefine customer success in ways that it has not been defined before. So, all the creative people in customer success and all the creative people outside of customer success, you are more than welcome to innovate. I'd love to learn what's coming as well.
And actually, one of the very good things about working in the customer success profession is the willingness to share that I see in the vast majority of people who work in the profession, and the passion for making customer success work as a profession, not just personally for oneself, but for everyone. And I think that's wonderful. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to leave things on. So, Guy, thank you so much for taking the time to record this podcast conversation with me. It's been very enjoyable and very interesting. From myself and on behalf of everyone at practicalcsm.com, may I also wish you and your team a very Merry Christmas for those who celebrate it, and a very happy, healthy, and prosperous 2021 for everyone. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Rick. And we celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas and everything. So thank you very much, and happy holidays for you as well.
Thank you so much. I think any excuse for a celebration is always a good excuse.
Absolutely.
So, dear audience, thank you for viewing or listening. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please do me a favor, if you will, and share the link on social media. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues. We have a whole bunch more fantastic podcast guests lined up for 2021. And if you'd like to be kept updated when we release these podcasts and articles and videos and all sorts of other free stuff, go to our website at practicalcsm.com and become a free member. And also, if you'd like to come on the podcast show yourself as a future guest, or if you'd like to propose someone else as a guest that you would love to see me interview, get in touch with me. LinkedIn, my website, or email me at rick.adams@practicalcsm.com. So my name is Rick Adams from practicalcsm.com, saying thank you for listening to this podcast, and I look forward to talking to you again in future episodes. Thank you.